So at this point, Bryan has been missing for about a week, last seen at the Ugly Tuna Saloona, which was a bar by the campus that he went to school at. And he was last seen talking to these two women outside of the bar. Then he goes back into the bar, is seen on camera inside the bar, but they never see him on camera leave, and no one ever finds him again. So the police ended up wanting to question Clint, which was Bryan's best friend who was there that night with him, and he ends up getting a lawyer and denying to do the lie detector test, which is pretty suspicious in one way. Like, I'm all about defending yourself and knowing your rights, and maybe there would be a scenario where they try to twist his story or something, but in my opinion, if this is your best friend and you're really worried about him and you have nothing to hide, then taking the lie detector test just seems pretty easy, and just being like, well, look, I have nothing to hide, I'll definitely take it. And then if he can afford to have a lawyer, which he did get, then if they tried to twist the story, just have your lawyer stick up for you. And another interesting thing is, like, Bryan's brother made a comment saying that if he thought it was anyone that would do something weird, it would be Clint. Like, they were best friends, but apparently there was a bit of animosity towards the end of before he disappeared. Weeks go by and they still haven't heard from him. Alexis, which is Bryan's girlfriend, she calls his phone every day and it goes straight to voicemail, and this happens for months. And then one day, 6 months after he had disappeared, she calls one day and his phone starts ringing. She called 3 different times that day and it rang until the third call is where it got disconnected. So they were thinking maybe he's still alive, so they hit up the phone companies and they were able to track the ping of where his cell phone pinged from, and it was from a tower in Hilliard, Ohio, which was only about 15 minutes away from Columbus, where he disappeared. Now, according to the phone company, they said that that doesn't necessarily mean that his phone was actually on. They said it could have been a technical glitch or a signal bounce. And basically, there's been no phone activity since the day that he disappeared, along with his bank card and stuff like that. It hasn't been used at all. So Bryan's dad ends up searching for him nonstop, and he ends up going to a psychic, and the psychic says that Bryan's body is trapped underwater by the whirlpools by a bridge. So Bryan's dad and his brother end up going to some of the bridges locally and trying to snorkel or like scuba to find his body, and they end up almost drowning. Years go by and they never find him or really get any more clues. Alexis, she ends up having to move on because it's just so sad, and Bryan's dad actually, he ends up passing away in a freak accident when a branch hits him during a storm. And there's a few other details that we're going to talk about in part 4 to wrap this up.